John the Baptist's joy tank was full. Full. Whereas Americans, you know what they're full of? Their pockets are full of antidepressants. So which model of happiness are you going to follow? The joyful follower of Jesus, and you should say, I want to be one of those. The joyful follower of Jesus delights to exalt something. It's either going to be you, which will lead to depression and eventually insanity, or the joyful follower of Jesus delights to exalt Christ, which will lead to a joy tank that never runs dry. That's the life legacy of John the Baptist. And so for this morning, I gave you observation number 1 from this text last week, and I'm going to give you just observation number 2. I only have one point, but for those who weren't here, I see some faces that I don't recognize and some people who weren't here last week. That's the beauty of a small church, by the way. I can see all of you. Let me just give you a Cliff's Notes thing about something I said last week in observation number 1. Observation number 1 was this. Look on the screen. John joyfully exalted the purpose of Jesus over his personal mission. Here's what we said last week in case you weren't here. Everybody in here would say, I have a mission in life. My mission is my kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom, or my mission is this or that. I'm a businessman, or I'm a teacher, or whatever. Here's the thing. John the Baptist taught us that the only way to get a mission statement for your life, no matter what you do, is to take it from the purpose of the one who you say your life is all about. Now, if you're here and you say, well, my life is all about me, well, then that explains why your mission statement comes from, this is what I want. I'm telling you, that is the quickest way to depression. Because guess what? Whatever you're doing right now as your mission statement, it's on its way to its conclusion. And then what will you do when that mission is over? Here's what you'll do. You'll sink, and eventually you'll say, I have no reason to get out of bed in the morning. And then you'll be the one that's in my office saying, Pastor Luke, I'm incredibly depressed. It's because you got your mission statement from the wrong place. John got his mission statement from the purpose of Jesus on the earth. That's why his mission never ended. And that's why his joy tank kept going up. It just makes sense, doesn't it? So I have one last observation for you from this text about why John's joy continued to rise in his life. And it's going to require you to think. Okay, I've got to show you some things deep in this text here. Observation number 2. John willfully, that means no one drug him kicking and screaming. He did this by his own volition. He wanted to do this. John willfully exalted something over his own personal testimony. Like, this is what I've experienced in life. This is my testimony, but there's something above what I've experienced, my personal testimony. And you know what it is? The words of Jesus. Someone else's testimony is above mine, and that's where I go to for truth. John says this, verse 31 through 36. He who comes from above is above all. He who is of the earth, who's that? Everybody say, that's us. Say it. You got to read. John's talking about humans. He who is of the earth belongs to the earth and speaks in an earthly way. Time out. I'm going to give you commentary at each verse. Speaks in an earthly way. Here's what John is saying. Listen to me. John's saying, guys, I am a dust creature. You're a dust creature. Let's not exalt ourselves beyond what we actually are. Made out of the dust by a creator. What kind of a dust creature comes to a place and starts to say, you know what? I think I've got it all figured out. I'm so glad to hear you laughing because it is laughable. But that's where we are. We're at the state of madness, where dust creatures are going around saying, my experience is ultimate truth, and unless you bow to what I say is my experience, then you're standing in the way of my happiness. Now, we're going to get to what the Christian response to that worldview should be. But for now, let's just poke holes in it, okay? John continues, he who comes from heaven is above all. He, the man from outside time, he bears witness to what he has seen and heard, Yet, nobody receives his testimony. Let me tell you something. What's a testimony? Now, Christians, they think, oh, testimony, that's where you tell, I once was lost and now I'm found. No. Think of testimony like court of law, okay? Testimony from in a legal standpoint is someone comes up onto the witness stand and they either gave a verbal or a written affidavit of what they have seen, heard, or experienced. A testimony, listen to me, is a perception of an experience. That's all it is. And John is saying to his students, let me get this straight, students of mine, you're coming to me thinking I'm going to be upset because my little tiny fraction of a ministry where I got the privilege and the joy of speaking on behalf of Jesus, you're thinking that I'm going to be threatened because my time of giving a testimony is over? Don't you know I'm just an earth creature like you? We have the words of the man from heaven. John's saying, and that's where joy comes from. Finally, he finishes like this. The Father loves the Son and has given, and say this with me, all things into his hand. All things includes John the Baptist and you. He's in sovereign control over every part of your life. He finishes, whoever believes in the Son has eternal life. Whoever does not obey the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God remains on him. Let me tell you something about that last statement. It's a good conclusion of the first segment of the Gospel of John. And here's why he concluded that way, following the train of thought. Since your birth, every single sinful action you've done, and me too, has been a declaration that I don't believe God is true. Every sin. My conscience tells me I know what is true and I know what is right, but I'm going to do this instead. We're saying I actually don't believe that God has my best interest at heart. I believe I have my best interest in heart, so I know what God says, but I'm going this way. That's sin in a nutshell, okay? It's saying, God, you said, but I think my experiences tell me differently, okay? You know who else did that first? Eve. Eve knew what God said. She said, I think my experience is telling me different. And someone has told me it's different and I'll believe him. And so this last little part is saying, you can reverse that by just simply saying, here is God in the flesh with the testimony from outside time. If I believe him, I have the life I was made to live. If I reject him and say, I'll go based on my own experiences of 40 years, 50 years, good luck with that, then the wrath of God still remains on you. That's how he concludes. Your experiences can never be the objective measure of what is truth for two reasons. Listen to me. Your experience can never be the objective measure of what is true for two reasons. One, because it's temporary, and two, because it's blurry. Here's what I mean by that. If you say, my experiences have been happy, guess what? They won't be tomorrow. My experiences have been sad. Guess what? They won't be tomorrow. Because that's life. Some experiences are happy and they last for a little while, and some experiences are full of sorrow. Jesus was called the man from sorrows and full of joy, both at the same time. That's life. And so, if you build your view of joy and satisfaction on your temporary experiences, which are going to change tomorrow, what can you expect? Here's what you can expect. You can expect to be going down, oh, this made me happy, so I'll just chase this. Well, tomorrow it will wear out, and then you'll say, well, I'll just chase this now. And then that'll wear out, and eventually when all those things go away, listen, those of you who are saying, well, my work brought me joy. One day that'll stop. My friends and family brought me joy. Well, one day your kids are going to move and they may be far away and you might not get to see your grandkids. And I used to love pickleball, but now my knees are hurting me and I can't play as much anymore. For me, I used to love to run. It's hurting me these days. Eventually, that's going to go away. If you anchor your joys and your happiness to temporary things, you will eventually go as those things suddenly go away. But if you anchor your joy to the one thing that is eternal, your joy tank will stay full no matter what.
Hi, I'm Pastor Luke here at Island Bible Church on Long Beach Island. Thank you so much for watching this video. I pray that you found it both challenging and uplifting. Please don't forget to like and share this video, and feel free to hit the subscribe to see more videos just like this one. For our full-length sermons, you can find those here on our YouTube channel, or you can go to our website, hopeoflbi.com.